Welcome to Go Get That Rose. I am your host, Sarah. We are recapping the Bachelorette episode 3 of Clare's season. With me, as always, is my co-host, J Wade.
Hey, everybody. Can't wait to talk about this shit show. It was amazing.
And we have a special guest with us today, Abby Freel.
Hello. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to talk this episode.
All right. So, Abby, how long have you been watching The Bachelor, Bachelor Paradise, all of those shows?
How long? I've been watching for a really long time. I think I've been watching since Chris Soule's season.
Oh, okay.
So,
Wow.
Yeah, a long time. I used to watch just kind of casually, and then just got hooked on Bachelor Nation. And here we
I
are.
know.
So it's a wild journey every season, and just the overarching stories that happen over multiple shows. So yeah, I'm obsessed, and I'm glad to be here talking with other fans for sure.
Do you watch all of them, like all the spinoffs and stuff too?
Yeah. Bachelor in Paradise is a must for anyone.
Oh, that's my jam. That's my jam. I love it. It's the greatest thing in the world. Absolutely the greatest thing in the world.
They put all the entertaining people together, and just that's the magic right there.
Yeah. I'm really sad that we're not getting it. I'm guessing as of right now we're not going to get it. And I'm curious to see how they're going to do it next year.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it kind of almost was a little quarantine bubble before quarantine bubbles were a thing. So I think like it could work like the way that it seems to be doing fine for this, and I think they're doing the same for the upcoming Bachelor, which I think is starting soon / filming.
Yeah, I think it's filming right now in Pennsylvania, I believe.
Yes, I read that today. I'm like, interesting location.
Which I was like, okay, that's pretty close to New Jersey. Like that's it's a weird.
Just drive over.
Yeah. Just go sneak onto the set, see what's going on. Do you have a favorite Bachelor, Bachelorette?
Ooh.
Favorite season?
Oh my gosh, there's so many to choose from. I was a really big Caitlin Bristow fan, very randomly. I love her so much. She's on Dancing with the Stars right now, doing great. But I loved her season. I love that one a lot.
Yeah, I just started during this quarantine time going back rewatching old seasons I've never seen, because I started with Nick's season, and I started rewatching because they put a whole bunch of them on like Hulu and HBO Max. So I watched like Sean Lowe's and On. And
oh my god, that's
so I watched. His was so good. I like cried at the end.
His season is like so wholesome. Like, even though it's still The Bachelor, it's such a wholesome season. Like, we love that one.
Yes, it's very sweet. But definitely Caitlin's is probably my favorite Bachelorette so far. Because I was like, every episode is just something crazy is happening.
Yeah, she had a crazy ass group.
She really did. And I'm currently trying to finish up JoJo's right now, which I've never seen. And I thought her season was actually really good too.
Yeah, JoJo's a good one. You just remind me of another one that I can't remember. Rachel Lindsay's is a good one.
Yeah, hers is good.
Yeah. But yeah, super fun.
And speaking of Nick, you hosted and wrote the questions for the Bachelor Schmoedown, which him and Ashley and I were a part of. And I was definitely freaking out, and I could definitely see you were kind of fangirling out a little bit too.
Yes. Oh my goodness. That was such a weird experience because I found out that match was happening, and I'm not the head writer of the Schmoedown, but PJ was like, I think you have to take this one, because I was like, hi, I'm a really big fan. And so PJ was like, I obviously can't contribute to this. So I was writing the match, and then Christian asked if I wanted to be on the desk, and I was like, sure, I guess. And so it was so weird just to be on a call with Nick and Ashley and Jared, because I am like a big Schmoedown fan, but I've been a Bachelor fan longer, and I watched all of Nick's seasons. I watched all the seasons that Ashley and Jared were on. Like I said, I started with Chris Soule's season. And so it's so weird just to like think about all that time I spent watching them that like I got to hang out with them for a little bit. Do a schmodown. So
Yeah, it was great.
I have a quick question about that Schmodown match. And keeping in mind that it's not a league match or none of that. There's nothing at
yeah.
stake. And it was completely all in fun. Um, you were there. What do you think? Do you think Jared was off screen giving Ashley cues as to when to do what? Maybe not
I
feeding her answers, but like
yeah.
JT stuff like that. What do you think?
I think that at the end of the day, Jared is a Schmodown player. He understands the rules of the game and he understands the integrity of the game. I think that naturally Ashley was just kind of looking at him a lot of the time just to like almost think. Um, but I do think maybe there might have been a whisper of a repeat or a JTE in there, but I think it was all harmless. And,
Yeah.
regular season matches have managers, so maybe Nick should have just got a manager.
Mm. Well, the questions, excuse me, were great. I loved
Thank
them.
you.
I did, because going into it, I was like, what kind of questions do you write for Bachelor Nation? Because there's so many shows, and there was a bunch of like Bachelor Pad, Bachelor in Paradise, older questions. I was like really surprised. I thought they were really great, and there were some really hard ones. I was like, I have no idea.
There was so many that like because with every Schmodown match you have to be prepared for every category
Yeah.
to be read. So there is even so many questions, like 10% of the questions I wrote got chosen. So I was going deep dives into
Yeah.
Bachelor Nation for sure.
That's crazy. So let's jump into some of your thoughts about what did you think about Clare before, we started this whole thing when she got announced? Were you excited?
Yeah. I was excited. I said to you guys before we went on air that I loved that she is 39. I liked that like kind of push that they were showing where like it's not like a super young girl, because sometimes I feel like this is more with like the Bachelor show when they have like 20-year-olds on the cast and it's like, are they really ready to settle down? Like a 39-year-old who wants to be on The Bachelorette arguably wants to settle down.
Yeah.
So I was excited to see her. I had seen her in a bunch of stuff. I felt like like the Winter Games show felt like it was literally yesterday. So I was like, I forgot that she was like single and not engaged to
Yeah.
Benoit. But which is kind of funny because they're also like not talking about that whole part.
I know.
I think
I
that's
was like surprised when they did the little flashback. They did not mention that at all. I was like,
which is like a whole thing. Like she got straight up engaged. Like,
yeah.
okay, whatever. I think maybe it was just to like show that like I felt like I don't know, maybe she would be like an unreliable narrator if she like they show that she got engaged. Whatever. I don't know. But I was really excited. I kind of forgot like how she was a little bit just cuz she does like have her moments.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was excited. I was also excited because I felt bad that her season, like she's waited so long to find the love of her life, and then the season got shut down so fast,
Yeah.
almost immediately. And then I just felt bad. I'm like, this poor girl has to wait so long, and now she's got to wait a few more months to get her season started. So,
yeah. What have you thought about these past 3 episodes of her?
My feelings have been developing, and then they like were set in stone after last night's episode, where I definitely think that she's trying to find love, but I just think that whole Dale situation is so much. Like she literally like she decided that night that he was the one, and like as someone who's been through the show, I think like she needs to respect the show, like the game that it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's like she's just not respecting like the whole production of it. It's just like especially after last night, I'm just like, girl, like you were these guys at one point, so like respect their time. Like they all quarantine, like knowing how big the stakes are for this season, where these guys waited for months and then quarantined and left their families during a pandemic, and now she's like literally wasting their time. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little wild, and let's just jump into that episode last night. The episode starts out with probably the most heated I was the whole episode was with the Yosef drama.
Oh my god.
And then I thought even more mad on Discord talking to you about it. I'm like, oh, I just shouldn't even have said anything. I'm like, she's kind of nuts, and Sarah's like laid into me. I was like,
yeah, we went at it. I was like, she's not crazy. She's not crazy. I will stand up for her right now. But yeah, so I don't even know. Yosef, I don't know. He sat her down and initially was talking to the other guys, and the other guys were like, look, don't be too rude to her. I truly believe that he, at that point, was like, didn't like her. I mean, obviously, but was just like, I'm going to go make a scene, get my TV moment, and walk out. Like, there was nothing she would have said to him that was going to make him stay around. Like, he was just going to lay into her, which he completely did.
Yeah.
Jay, what did you think? Should we start this off with you? I don't know.
Dude, believe me, I got something to say about it. No, I think that he had valid beef. Like, I thought the new dodgeball thing I thought it was degrading as well. And all that, and extremely immature, especially for a 39-year-old woman who's claiming to know exactly what she wants. But it just, so like, he had a point there, and he had a point about something else, but what was the first thing he brought up? It was, it was petty, but I mean, he wasn't wrong about how they're there for her, and he was pointing out that, like Abby, like you said, that they put their lives on pause, so their lives, it's about them too. But yeah, he just said it in a very shitty way. Like, he was extremely rude about it. There was no discussion there like you would think a couple or a potential couple even would have. He just went in there with something to say, and he said it in an extremely rude way. I could have expressed those same feelings, but in a much more productive and polite way. She probably wouldn't have ended up picking me in the end, but we could have continued on the show. I mean, I wouldn't have had to storm off, and she wouldn't have had to fire me after I quit, so to speak.
Yeah, he said a couple things that really upset me. I mean, he first sits down, he's like, I've seen some red flags, which was like, okay, this isn't that bad, whatever. But every time she would try and like talk to him, I thought she was very calm until a point. But the whole time he would just be like, no, like, let me finish, which I hate when people do that. But we talked about this in past episodes. Yosef brings up the fact that he's a father every chance he can, which reminds me a lot of Juan Pablo, of everything with him was just like, my daughter, I don't want my daughter to see this, which I'm like, is Claire getting flashbacks right now that he keeps saying this? But he said something like, I risk a lot to come here. I'm leaving my daughter. And Claire was like, I know how you feel. My mom is literally dying right now. And he was like, okay, I'm not done talking, and like just cut her off. And I was like,
To be fair, I'm just saying, to be fair, she did interrupt him. That's all I'm saying.
She interrupted him to say, like, I see what you're saying. My mom is literally dying.
I get it. And at that point, if I were him, I would have let her continue, given what she was saying. Yeah. But I'm just saying, let's be fair here. She did interrupt him.
Okay. But he was being rude, but he like wasn't even listening to her. Like, he was just like, I'm not done. Like,
yeah, I do think that like Yosef had good points, not with what he was saying, but just like I could see why that would make someone uncomfortable, and not like, yep, take a shot every time Yosef mentions his daughter. But I could see why that whole dodgeball thing would make someone uncomfortable. And if they're not comfortable with that, then like that isn't a good conversation to like have and just be like, hey, I don't feel comfortable with this. But just the way he went about it was so manipulative almost, where it was just like, I'm going to tell you how you're a bad person because of this, or she maybe probably didn't even have control over it being a strip dodgeball game.
Yeah.
Like, as far as we know. And so, like, he was just a lot. And you guys were right when he's like, well, I don't want my daughter to see this, like, staying behind his great role as a father. It was a lot. It was a lot.
Right. And speaking back to that, a reference to how great he is, when Tyler C had called him out about him messaging a bunch of girls and she confronted both of them about it, I had said before, like, when she stopped Tyler dead in his tracks and said, and looked at Joseph and was like, okay, yes or no, is this true? That was awesome. That was a boss move.
Yeah.
But he never answered her. He never answered whether or not
so
he did
weird.
that. And then she ended up keeping him around, which was a stupid move.
And not Tyler C.
He never answered the question. So it's just like, I don't know. That should have been a red flag right there as soon as he did that. But
I mean, he went from literally 0 to like 100, and he just kept, once he said something about, like, once he just kept going on a roll, he was like, and I am ashamed to be associated with you. I was like, oh, it's going downhill now. Like, he's just letting it all out. Like, literally.
A lot of big words in there, like ashamed and embarrassing and just other, like, really big.
He was really trying to show off. Like, stop. Yeah, no. And then the one moment where she's like, okay, well, like, I'm done with this. And he starts to get pretty aggressive. And he's like, no, no, no. Like, telling her no and getting in her face. And I mean, she's brought up on the season so far that, like, she was in an abusive relationship. And this isn't the only thing in the episode, I think, that kind of, like, triggered her a little bit. We'll talk about it later. But she, like, stood up and, like, stood up for herself and said her famous line again, which I think really worked, and I don't feel like it was, like, kind of cliche. I don't know. I kind of love that. She was like, I don't ever want a man like you to be my father, or to be the father of my children. And he was like, I don't want...
Like, he deserved it.
I'm like, go off, girl.
He is a father, and he deserved that comment.
Yeah, it was just... It was really crazy. And one of the podcasts I was listening to, they were saying that they think Joseph is probably one of the worst, like, villains that we've had on the show. Abby, I'm curious, do you feel like he's one of the worst, or that we've had worse people?
I feel like he's definitely, like, fitting the vibe of, like, a normal Bachelor villain. I don't know if he's the worst. I think, like, sometimes to me the villains are, like, just get worse because for some reason they keep hanging around. Like, especially when they're, like, they keep getting roses. So I was just glad to, like, see him just go home.
Just go.
So, like, yep.
Yeah. Which is why we love Clare, right? Because she doesn't really, for the most part, put up with the drama. Unless she likes the drama, I think.
Yeah. Unless it's good for her.
Yeah. But for the, like, she was just like, okay, bye. Like, get out of here. I don't want to deal with you anymore. And
like, she fired him after he already quit. It was funny, but
she's like, bye. I'm just gonna put up the picture of Joseph just yelling at her. It's kind of terrifying. Like,
yeah, he's an a-hole. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. Bye-bye. And I didn't notice it, but when I rewatched the episode today, Dale definitely did just appear out of nowhere to comfort her. I was like, where did this guy come from? Like,
it was like he was hiding from behind a bush, man.
He's like, hey, what's going on? I was like,
alone now.
What are you doing?
And it was just a little awkward in the editing. I don't know if it was just because it was, like, producer fed or whatever, but, like, those 5 guys were, like, ready to fight Joseph. And then, like, they walk away from her somehow. Like,
I think she walked past them. Like, she just kept going.
Yeah. Like, and then they didn't follow her, but then Dale was just, like, swooped in and was like, what's wrong?
It was really weird. I thought that too, because I was like, oh, like, she's gonna go up and, like, hug one of them, or they're gonna, like, rally around her, but she just kept walking. Like,
nope. I don't know. Yeah. And, like, why would Dale be walking around? I mean, the question of the episode is, why is Dale walking around all the time? But, like, why was he, like, how did he know that she was over there crying, you know?
Because he was hiding in the bush, twirling his mustache, laughing.
Producers.
Stalker.
So after that, you know, Chris talked to Clare about, I don't know, and they still had the rose ceremony. Okay, looking around, I feel like they're just going through these episodes so quick. Like, we're not really getting to know really any of the guys except for Dale and maybe like Blake.
Dale. I'm still disappointed that Chip hasn't gotten any FaceTime. What the hell's up with that?
Oh my gosh. Anyway, watching the rose ceremony, I'm like, who are half these men? Like, I literally don't know half of their names. There was 3 of them. I'm like, I don't know who you are. I've never seen you before. Do you feel like this season is just like, they're just skipping all the men?
I think it's like that because of what's to come, because it's almost like a preseason to like what's probably the real season. But yeah, no, I was watching it with my roommate, and it was like that dramatic editing of like all the guys that are like that are in the bot, like who don't have roses.
Yeah.
And it's like tense, and you're like, who are all of them? Like, I don't know. It was just a little odd. Like, I didn't even really feel bad for people because I was like,
no,
I didn't see them. I really don't remember who they were. So,
no, so the names I wrote down was one guy's name was Tyler. No idea who that was. The other one was the other Blake. And then the one guy I did recognize was Garen. I didn't know that was his name, but I kind of recognized him.
Oh, yeah.
Other than that, but they also didn't do, like, normally they interview them as they leave and they play that over, but they were doing their, like, they had Chasen and Riley talking about how excited they were to get to know Clare and didn't really give us, like, any goodbye. Like, you know, like, normally they're like, I wish I could have stayed around longer to meet Clare or whatever, but they didn't do that, which I thought was interesting.
That was so weird.
Yeah, it was really weird.
And also, sorry, a lot of those guys, like, because didn't she didn't do the cocktail party because of the Yosef situation. So like some of those guys could have gotten screwed because they could have had a good convo with her and saved themselves that night, but she just knew. And I felt like some of them might have not even got a chance with her.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, at this point, and by the end of the episode, we see, like, I don't think she cares about anyone except Dale. Like, I don't think it would have mattered at all.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Like, I'm in school.
Vagina tail party comes when the Bachelor starts, everybody.
Oh my gosh.
Woo-hoo!
We have a lot of inside jokes, I guess, on this podcast. He likes to call it the... Stop. Yeah, I'm not going to get into it.
That was amazing. Go pee. Anyway, sorry. She said cocktail party. What do you expect me not to throw out the vagina tail party?
He likes to call it the vagina tail party because
that makes sense.
Bachelor Paradise cocktail parties, and then there were the vagina tail parties.
And I'm over here like, oh my god, like, let's move it along. So they did the group date, which they did not do the group date. They just had the after party part of it, which I don't think it's ever happened purposely before. Not that I remember.
I don't know what was up with that, because I think it's, and like we can get into it later in the episode, but I just think that whatever was going on with Clare is like she was so obsessed with Dale that she was like at this point she's messing up production. Like she's not giving them content. She didn't give them a whole night of talking to those guys before that rose ceremony. If it was her choice that she didn't do the day part of the date, then like production probably had something completely set up for that. Like unless it was like you know what I mean? Like at this point, like she's just ruining production, like the show itself with and money and just
time,
like
everything.
These guys' times. So like that's why I'm like wondering, like, was this when they started to call Tayshia? Because because this part, like, she's just she's just messing everything up, and she's not respectful of the show itself at this point, it seems like, unless that whole, because they didn't really explain why that part of the day got canceled, right?
No.
I just assumed she blew it off to go hang out with that Deanna girl or whatever. I just assumed that they hung out all day. I mean, that's what we saw. We saw her hanging out with them, and then it went right to the guys hanging out, and then everything was canceled. So I'm like, so what? She just kick it with old girl all day? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I assume that too. I don't know. I've been hearing a lot of different thoughts on people saying that maybe production is more kind of trying to kick Claire out at this point, or maybe she's messing up. Like, I don't know, because maybe it was like they were like, hey, go talk to Deanna, and oops, time slipped away, and now like they're really trying to paint Claire kind of as the bad guy to bring in Tayshia, because I've heard the one rumor was that they knew they wanted Tayshia from the start, and they're just kind of like night one when Claire was like, I met my husband, they're like, okay, bring her in, like, let's go. But I don't know. I don't think that's something we're really going to know until a year or so when everyone's contracts are up, that Claire can be like, yeah, they pushed me out of it, or no, it was all me.
They have good reason from what I've seen. Dude, so far, and it could all just be editing, but so far it seems like she found her guy on night one and she's shitting on everybody else and just doesn't care.
But that's how she's always been, though. Like, she's always been.
I don't know. So when I asked that, I mean, I'm really asking because I've only seen like 2 seasons, but
she's been like, I want guys to chase after me, and I want to feel like she wants the guys to
like that every time
to show up. Like, and I mean, I feel like she's fallen head over heels for guys every season she's on, honestly. Like Juan Pablo, the first date, she was like,
it's not real. I'm sorry, but you can't fall in love with somebody in 30 days or whatever that you just met. It's not realistic. It's a game show. That's all it is. I'm just sorry. It just, come on, man.
You can in Bachelor Nation.
Something, but whatever. I'm old fashioned. What can I say?
Well, this is why we love the show, because people believe that they can, and we love to watch it.
I mean, I've never told a girl that I love her until at least after 5 years of dating. I mean, come on. Got to go slow with these things.
We're not going to get into my history. Yeah. So you did mention we had Deanna stop by, Bachelorette number 4, which I honestly thought was a really odd choice. I don't know. Like, that was a long time ago.
It was a weird clip too. Like, it was just a weird conversation. And also, does she have to quarantine for 2 weeks?
I think so.
Just for that?
Yeah, honestly. She was one of the, because they've also been rumors about different people that are going to show up, and I did not hear anything about her showing up. So I was like, oh, Deanna. Yeah. I mean, I didn't watch her season or anything she was on, and I really don't know who she is, but I was like, oh, this chick. Okay. Yeah, it was.
I assumed she was there because Claire's big thing, from what I've noticed, is that she is older, that she knows what she wants, she's ready for a family and all that. I assume that they brought that girl in because she married the dude, they got kids, had a family, she was successful through the show. That's kind of why I assume.
Married the guy, though.
Oh, she didn't? I thought that's.
I don't think she married her. I don't think she's one of the ones that married her final pick.
Yeah,
all right.
I'm not even that sure either.
Yeah, I don't. So that's why
questions about her season.
I could see why, if that was the case, like, oh, she's older and it did work out for her, but I don't think that's the case. And I don't think they were really ever, I mean, obviously they weren't on a show together, so it's not like you can even be like, oh, they were friends, they met on Paradise or Winter Games or something. It's just kind of like a weird, like, why is she here? Like, this is... Yeah. I mean, it was weird. Also, the weird thing was she had a pair of Dale's pants. That I was very confused. Did you miss that? Yeah, she was like, these are Dale's pants, and she was like smelling them.
Was that his gift from the last episode?
She said that he ripped them on the date, and she said, well, I want those as a gift. And then he gave them to her. I was like, that's weird. That's really weird. Like,
right on.
She's like,
yeah, I don't know.
Some guys collect hair from chicks, and I guess some chicks collect pants.
She was like, okay, it was really weird. Anyway, so she comes in and she's like, okay, we're gonna cancel the the morning afternoon part, which I was like, these guys have been waiting around for hours and now you tell them that you're canceling the like morning part, like, which again, I don't know if that's her or production, but it doesn't make her look good at all.
No.
Then we get into that night portion, baby, and we got Dale being Dale. I've said before I don't really like Dale. He kind of rubs me the wrong way. How do you guys feel about Dale?
I don't hate Dale, but like, well, I didn't hate Dale before this episode, but like, he also didn't give me that much substance to where I was like, oh, I would fall in love with him upon meeting him too.
Yeah.
Like, she was like, she's been in love with him since the moment he walked out that limo, and he like hasn't even really shown that back until this episode, because before she was so hype about him, and I'm like, but like, what has he done? You know,
I felt the same way. I was like, I don't feel like he's that into her that she is like in love with him. And he's a little boring until this episode where I was like, Dale, okay.
Yeah. He was so problematic this episode.
Such a terrible liar. I mean, you shouldn't lie anyway, but if you're going to, I mean, shit, man, at least be decent at it.
Terrible. He couldn't even get like a sentence out though, like the whole time. He's just like, yeah, that was fun. I was like, what?
What were you doing? And he's just like a giddy little schoolboy.
Yeah. I was like,
just talking. No.
Maybe that's the issue with them being older though, is because a lot of them are older, but some of them still act pretty immature. Which I'm like, you're like 36. Why are you still acting like this? Like, I don't know. Yeah.
Although I will say that that one time when she went on the group date and she was going on the single date one-on-one with Zach, I believe it is. And Dale. I'm bad with
no more Pete's. No more Peter.
No more pilots.
No more pilot Pete.
But when she commented like how good Dale looked in that hat and all of that, you know what I mean? Dude was looking pretty good, I will admit. I was like, damn, dude. Like, I'd never
he's good looking.
Where I was like,
yeah,
damn, dude.
Just looks boring.
No,
I don't know. I was like, hot. What are you doing Friday night, man? I am
gosh. I don't know. He just doesn't seem like he has a personality to me, which is kind of the type that sometimes I feel like they like to cast as a bachelor. So I feel like if he didn't work out with Clare, he would probably be like the next bachelor.
Please.
Yeah.
I don't know. But he starts out and gives this whole speech how he just wants to take her for like 5 minutes and then makes them group hug, which I thought was really weird. And then they start making out for like 45 minutes. We have some pictures.
Yeah.
There they are in her bedroom.
And I could not stand what she was wearing. It looked so
I loved it.
Man, I couldn't stand it.
Her outfits have been
What do you like about it then? Because I asked you in the moment, I'm like, what the fuck?
I said it's a look.
And you were like, lingerie with...
She's wearing lingerie with shorts on it and then a blazer.
It's a look.
It was a look.
It's a look. Thank you.
I agree.
I saw someone wear that when we went to Disney on my honeymoon. I was like, why are you wearing lingerie in Disney World? But that's
besides. If ladies ever wear that kind of outfit, I apologize. Nothing personal.
Absolutely not.
I just was like, I'm like, what the fuck is she wearing? It just, I was like,
it was like a bodysuit. Like,
it's like lacy. She was obviously trying to show off for Dale. I mean,
well, yeah, but I mean, every dress or top she wears shows off for Dale. So, I mean, she didn't need to wear the skimpy little lingerie type top.
I liked it. I'm like, you go, girl. It's a look.
I don't care. I really don't care in the end, but I do think it just looks. I'm not a fan of the look.
It's. I don't know. What did we feel about this date? The Dale date. I don't.
With Blake, she showed that she has no respect for like the rules of the show. Mm-hmm. She'll reward people going against just the social etiquette of the show. Mm-hmm. And I think like by this part, she was already simping so hard for Dale that it's like, I would have felt disrespected like the way that they did after that, because like Dale was running around being shady, like trying to be coy about everything, but then also like interrupting a date. Like interrupting people's time when like he knows he's the front runner, but like you don't need to like keep stealing her like that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was go ahead.
Just he's a shitty liar. I'll just say that again. I mean, it's so obvious. One, I don't know why they asked him what was going on. They know what was going on. Don't be stupid children. Call him out for what was going on, and then they ask him what's going on, and he can't even lie. So that's it. Stupid Dale.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt bad for like what you said. I feel bad for the other guys, and especially on the second group date. I mean, at this point, it was just really obvious that all she cares about is Dale.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else to say about that group date? I mean, besides all that drama, there really wasn't much.
I think this is when Dale showed his true colors.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, yeah, because after that, he's like, I'm the one that's the best suited for her to the guys. And they were like, Jason was like, excuse me? You want to say that again? Yeah. I was like, okay. Yeah, definitely. I think this is when his personality or competitiveness came out a little bit. And
or just his acknowledgement about his relationship with Claire, of just like, I think before he never said anything that was like too like obvious to the guys, that he was like, he knew Claire was literally in love with her. So before that, everyone was still kind of thought they were in a competition.
That's true.
So.
They still do, even after all of this crap. At the very end of the show, I mean, I'm sorry, but at the end of what we saw last night, these guys are suckers because they still think they have a chance. It's terrible. I don't get it. They should all just pack up and go home. They think
they have a little bit, but I think they are kind of realizing like, maybe not that. Except for Bennett. Sweet Bennett.
Honestly, I feel like Bennett just needed a good vacation, and that's like why he's on the show. That's like, Bennett just seems to be like on vacation. He's the icon.
I love him so much. He's my favorite. Anyway, before we jump into the one-on-one date and the final group date, we're going to take a quick break real quick to listen to these ads for other shows that you can find here.
Hey everybody, Sean and Wade here to tell you about our new review show following each episode of Disney Plus's The Mandalorian.
Dude, yes, Boba Fett!
Not exactly, Wade. Set in the Star Wars universe, The Mandalorian takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi and follows a Mandalorian bounty hunter beyond the reaches of the New Republic.
Yeah, Boba Fett.
Did you even watch Return of the Jedi? Never mind. Join us here every week on the Merc with the Movie blog feed. Thank God Kaylin will be here too. I don't think I can handle Wade on my own.
Hey, Jay Wade here to tell you about SEN After Live, our SEN Live After Show, where we talk about, well, whatever Christian, Brett, and the rest of the crew talk about, and the insanity that ensues. So join us each week here on the Merc with the Movie blog feed on your podcasting platforms, as well as YouTube now on the SEN After Live channel. Talk to you then.
Hey everybody, I'm Sean. You guys might know me on this feed from co-hosting Beyond the Screen, but now here at Merc with the Movie blog, we have started a brand new show exclusively for video games called Game Over Screen. So join me every week with my co-hosts.
Hey, how's it going? My name's Brendan.
And I'm Tyler.
As we talk about everything video game related, and when we, I guess, get to the Game Over Screen. I don't know, I don't have a good pun for that, but the joke is that we're going to die a lot in the game.
Well, you might.
I solemnly swear that I am up to no good. Hey guys, it's Sean. I wanted to tell you guys about the new show I'm hosting, the Harry Potter Review Show. Every other week, I'm joined by some combination of Kaylin, Sarah, and one guest that has never read the books. We discuss one movie per episode and break down what we love about them, what we don't love about them, and the differences from the books to the movies. It's a ton of fun, and I hope you guys will tune in to check it out. Until then, mischief managed.
All right, make sure you go and check out those shows. Yeah, they're a fun time. Okay, let's get into this one-on-one date with Zach J, which I don't understand why she picked him in the first place to go on this date. Like,
do they pick who they go on one-on-ones with, or does the production? I just assume production makes all the decisions.
yes. Yeah, I think they have some kind of say. Like, I think production will be like, we picked this date. Who do you think will best fit this date, this type of date, or whatever? I don't understand why, even if it was production, why they would have picked him, because they never had any chemistry to begin with, you know?
He was also like the last person to get a rose in the rose ceremony.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
But that dude ended up making me just want to reach right through the screen and punch him in his freaking face.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's just talk about it.
I don't know.
He went home. He got sent home, so we're not going to see him anymore. But yeah. So the big moment is that she's like, you could tell the whole date she's not comfortable with him, which I still grabbed her by the neck. Absolutely, big no. Which you could tell she was not into him,
she was
and the whole
not
time
feeling him.
No, she was like, Dale, like in her whatever. And then she goes to like kiss him goodbye. And I've watched this clip a couple of different times, and he like doesn't move like natural when you go to kiss someone. You both kind of like move together. Like he just stood there, and she like pulled back, and then he was like, "Oh wait." And I think he thought the whole problem was that she didn't think that he really wanted to kiss her, which wasn't the case, but that wasn't what the problem was. So then he kept like grabbing her. She kept trying to walk away, and he kept like grabbing her. And especially like Kaylin said, around the neck and like her stomach. Like it was just really awkward. And I don't think he meant it like maliciously or
I don't think so either, but dude,
I don't think he understood what was happening. Like it was not, he just would not. And Clare even said it like, when I'm trying to walk away, like, let me walk away. It's the fact that he kept grabbing her and chasing her and like kept grabbing her back of her neck, which I'm like, don't do that. Like, don't do that.
Yeah. Well, my first thought when it went down was I didn't notice any kind of posturing thing. I didn't notice that. Honestly, I don't know, but honestly, I was like, man, right at the last second before she kissed him, she thought about Dale and she backed off. That's honestly what
everyone's saying.
But then as it went on, I was like, it doesn't matter what happened. This guy's a fucking asshole. And I'm just saying, dude, I don't think he was trying to be malicious with her either. But the fact is, you don't handle a woman like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't handle a man like that, but especially you don't fucking do that shit, especially to a female. It's not cool. I was extremely on edge, and I don't know. I'm surprised that production didn't step in right in that moment. I mean, it was cool that Chris came out to tell him you're gone.
I love that.
Take care of that for her, but I was surprised that production didn't step in immediately.
Yeah. What did you think, Abby?
Yeah, it was just one of the most awkward moments ever. I think that she tried to kiss him. He also seemed very nervous just in general. Like he was anxious about how he almost got sent home, and then he was putting a lot of pressure on himself. Like I think as you would normally if you're like on a one-on-one and at this point where he's at. So he was very nervous. And then I feel like she went to kiss him, and then like he just kind of was either just like freaking out or like whatever, like maybe she realized like, oh, I can't kiss him, what about Dale or whatever. And I think that was his natural reaction of being like, wait, come back, I do want to kiss you. Like that's just like, and that was just his way of just being like, wait, come back. But like that he just was never on the same page with her, and when they're not on the same page, stuff like that's gonna happen. And like and they also don't know each other well enough where like Claire is going to be triggered by that. Like she said she was triggered. So like that in itself is just like, I can see why she got triggered, but I also think it was like, it was still a lot. Like, I don't think anyone should grab someone's neck like that or someone's stomach, but I think it was a little innocent on his part because he was just nervous and just trying to be like, come back. No, 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 no. Like, because then, like, she's walking away. Like, that's the end of his date. Like, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I don't think it was like malicious or him really just like, maybe it was the only area he's like, oh, I'm trying to kiss her, let me try and grab her neck. I don't know.
She was wearing a swimsuit.
He was
That's true.
trying to kiss her. Like, she was backing away and you could see him pulling her closer to him, and that's what really set me over the edge. I was like, dude, like trying to just grab someone in a non-forceful way, but like just like, please, like, stop walking away and just stand here for a second. That's one thing to a degree, but like when you're pulling someone and trying to kiss them and you're having to force that's what set me off. That was not cool.
Yeah. And he like wasn't really listening to what she was saying either, because she's like, no, it's okay, like I'm just gonna go get dressed, like it's fine, like trying to shut it down. He's like, no, come back. Yeah, we got that picture of him. I don't know. I never saw it to begin with and just thought it was a really odd choice. And like you said, Chris came and sent him home, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah. He knew it. Poor guy. As soon as he saw Chris walking out,
he was like, I don't know what happened.
Before that, anyway, you know, man.
Yeah. And then we have our final group date, which was a roast of the other guys with Margaret Cho showed up, which I'm pretty sure she had to quarantine. So I hope it was worth it. And I hope she got paid the big bucks to be there. Yeah, they had them all up on stage in these nice little like suits, roasting the other. I guess they roasted each other and the other contestants. There's my man Bennett.
American Psycho in the house.
I love him.
Killed it. No pun. That just worked out there. The American Psycho, and then if you have to explain the joke, then it was not a good one anyway.
But yeah, they had like the other guys there, and what do we think of this date?
We've seen roasts before.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the questions in the Schmoedown match. What I thought it was fun. I think they edited a lot of it out. I kind of wanted to see more Margaret Cho.
Yeah.
I think that the focus about everything turned into Dale just in the editing. Because someone even said, like, I had 80 jokes and one of them was about Dale, and like that was, I think, even in the editing, that was just the big focus. But this was the end of the beginning of the end for all that stuff.
Yeah, definitely. When Clare said, I like a good roast, but I like it when the jokes aren't mean. And I was like, but that's what a roast is. Like, do you not watch the MTV roast or whatever? Like, they're just terrible to each other.
Also, I don't think any of them were mean.
No, I don't think so either.
Even when it was about Dale, like, I didn't think any of them had the guts to tell her later, like, yeah, we all kind of hate how you and Dale are like a thing.
Yeah.
But like, I think all of their jokes were still in good fun of just like them, just them roasting Dale for being extra.
He didn't look angry either. Like, they kept flashing to him and he's just he looked embarrassed, but he wasn't like sitting there like mad. Like, it reminds me, this wasn't a roast, but back in JoJo's season when Evan started just roasting on Chad, like Chad was pissed and like looked angry. Like, Dale didn't look, and his stuff was pretty mean and malicious, but yeah, like Dale's stuff was just like, if anything, I think Bennett maybe was the one that went a little hard, but even then, I don't know. I thought
he killed it, dude. It was amazing. I loved it.
Especially because he seems like kind of social. He doesn't seem like totally socially awkward, but just like a little bit. And then him like doing his like jokes were just too good.
Yeah. He does seem like the guy that is a little bit more awkward than the other guys there, but I love that about him. And he does just seem really sweet, and just to see him just cracking jokes.
Yeah.
Am I the only one who thinks about Clark Kent every time he's
no.
wearing glasses? Every
Absolutely.
time I'm like, dude, it's Superman in disguise.
He was like, you should come to my chateau and check out my suits or something like that. I was like,
That was iconic.
I love this man. He's so funny. But Claire did not like any of these jokes. And Kaylin did say at one point, she said, like, when she walked away from the group date and didn't give anyone the rose, she was like, I'm not going to give out a rose to all the guys that are making fun of my fiance.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Which I was like, oh.
Why are you giving out roses to any guys if you have a fiance?
That shows that she's already over it. She's just doing, like, she chose. And I feel like sometimes people obviously have favorites, but they're like, they just go with the show because they're on The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. And like at the point that she's at, she's just not even like, she's not even pretending. And like, that's where I can see why everyone's getting so frustrated.
Yeah. Yeah, because other leads have come out and said, like, I knew who I wanted my number one to be, like, 2 weeks in, but I still played along a lot on other dates and developed feelings for other people. Yeah, she's not, at this point, she's just like, it's Dale, my fiance, like.
Yeah, doing the most.
I hope he ends up, dude, I hope she ends up wanting him and he ends up not wanting her. Yeah, I said it. I hope that's what happens. That'll show you, Claire.
It'll be a joke about us because we're the ones who sat there and watched it all. We wasted our time.
Yeah, we get entertainment from it.
I mean, this date was just her just talking about Dale to the other guys.
Yeah.
The entire time. Yeah, I mean, there isn't really much else to say just besides the fact that, like, where do we go from here? Obviously we kind of got our answer. It's just, I don't know. It's interesting. Do you think that this season would have ended differently if she did just kind of play along? Or do you always think that this was kind of the path that we were going to get with Claire, her just focusing in on one guy?
That's an Abby question, considering the only Bachelorette I've ever seen is Hannah B.
And that was a season.
Oh, yeah.
No, I kind of said this earlier. Like, I just feel like someone who's been on the show this long would know how to pretend enough to just keep going and, like, almost respect the production and just the show, especially after, like, she's still the Bachelorette after a whole pandemic, like so much work had to be done to get specifically her season in place. And they they kept that for her. And so, like, I think it's just a lot for her to, like, just be doing what she's doing and with Dale and everyone. But I don't know if it would have been different because I think she's just really in love with Dale.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of feel like this was probably the result we were always going to get with a Claire season, just knowing that she wanted, once she knew, because she keeps saying, like, I know, when I know, and she knows it's Dale. And yeah, obviously at this point, she's just not going to pretend anymore. So I guess that leaves, like, next week. I mean, we're not really spoiling anything. We know Tayshia's coming at some point. And it seems like it's going to be next episode. Kaylin did have a good point in our chat. She said, will Tayshia pick up where Claire left off, bring all the guys back, or new guys? I don't know. I'm kind of hoping they bring back some of the old guys. I don't think they'll just pick up where she left off. But does that mean we'll have to see entrances again? Like, I don't know. Because for me, I feel like they've went farther than I thought they would. Like, I thought we'd only seen one episode with Claire, and it would just show us Dale stuff, and that was it. But we're like 4 episodes in. We don't really have that many episodes left. Like, do you think they'll start back over, or she'll just kind of get plugged in with the guys that Claire has left over?
I don't know. I feel like maybe they'll bring like select people back. Like they won't bring back all 32. The interesting thing about like the Bachelor and Bachelorette casting is always like most of the time it's catered towards the person. And so like I'm just interested to see like these people who were there for Clare, if that, like, not that Tayshia's not gorgeous and amazing, like she is a queen, she was one of my favorite from Colton season. I feel like it's just it's going to be a weird blend because like all the guys kind of seemed pretty into Clare, and I just am hoping that it carries through for Tayshia because they were catered towards Clare.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm excited to watch that episode next week. Do we have any final thoughts before we wrap up the episode? Starting with Jay, any final thoughts?
Claire, you let me down. Claire. You let me down. I think you're rude and disrespectful, and not only to the game, which in this case, the game being the show and production, but you're disrespectful to the guys who did drop their lives, and who knows, some of them maybe quit their jobs or put their jobs on the line to come and meet you, and you're just jerking everybody around. I just think you're rude as fuck.
Well, I respect your opinion. I still like Claire. But I do agree that I definitely think what the episode is making it seem like that she does not care about these guys at this point, and I do think that's kind of disrespectful a little bit. Yeah, Abby, any final thoughts?
I'm really excited to see what's going to go down. I feel like the most similar thing to this was Caitlin's season with the other girl who, what was her name?
Britt.
When it was Britt, yes.
Britt. Yeah, Britt.
When it was, they had those two as the bachelorettes on the first night, and then the guys got to vote for who was going to be the bachelorette. So I feel like this is the most similar season in terms of just like changing up the format. And so like I'm excited to just see like that go down, because like, is Claire gonna leave easily? Is she gonna leave with Dale? Is Tayshia already at the property? Is she like, does production get shut down for 2 weeks? Was Tayshia always there? Kind of like what you were saying earlier, Sarah. So I don't know, and I'm like super excited. This is what Bachelor Nation has been waiting for since we heard the rumors. So
yes, it's finally happening. Hopefully it will all be revealed next episode. Probably not, because they like to just keep us on the edge and suspense. But yeah, that's going to be the end of our episode here. Abby, thank you so much for joining us. We had a great time. Where can the people find you and follow you?
Thank you guys for having me. This was super fun. Y'all can find me at Abigail Freel on all social medias, and follow the Schmodown TikTok at the Schmodown.
And J Wade, where can people find you?
You can follow me on the Twitter at JWade1134. J, the letter J, WADE1134. Please don't find me at my home where I live.
Yeah, please don't do that.
That would be bad.
Bring some party supplies with you, and I might let you in the door. But especially if it's a Tuesday night, because I'm gonna need that watching this show. This is nuts. But yeah, I do another show, SEN After Live, also here for Merc with the Movie Blog, and our show Hey Mando really kicks off this Friday. So check that out too.
Oh, and you can follow. You can follow me on Twitter at SCBock, SSEABOCK. You can follow the Go Get That Rose Twitter at Go Get That Rose, and the Merc with a Movie Blog at Movie Blog Merc Twitter, I believe. And you can find all the other shows on there as well. And just a reminder that next week they are pushing The Bachelorette to Thursday because of the elections on Tuesday night. So we will be here live on Friday, I believe, same time. And
not the same time, but
not the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I'll tweet it out.
Conflict schedule there with another show that's recorded about the same time, but we'll let you guys know for sure.
I'll tweet it out. It'll be out there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
we will see you guys then. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next week. Bye.